everyone. Well, it's nice to have you back with us again today.
Hi,
Um,
Daniel.
Hello. How have you been doing since our last session?
Well, my parents are still pretty overbearing, but I'm trying to keep my head up.
Oh, that's good to hear. And sometimes that can be really, really, really tough in your position. I understand that. Well, I would like to begin today's session with talking about that and us seeing if we can get a little closer to the goals that we established last week. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, good. So tell me a little bit more about how you're feeling transitioning from the military.
It's really rough. I used to have like a really set routine, and now I feel like I sleep a lot more, like a significant amount more. Not that I got a lot of sleep in the military, but yeah. And I feel like I used to have a lot more independence, even though the military is a really strict schedule. I was a couple states away from my parents in Oklahoma. So um, I just kind of did whatever I wanted to do.
Yes, I totally agree. That kind of transitioning can really be difficult coming in. Have you thought about what your choices are coming home?
I'm really nervous about maybe doing school. I don't know if I want to work. So I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth. And my parents are putting a lot of pressure on me to make a decision. And
Okay.
so it's just really frustrating because like I'm not sure yet. So, you know,
Yeah, I agree with you. That can be really tough making decisions when people are putting pressure on you. So have you thought about going to school at all? Has that?
yeah, I've considered it. I didn't do very good in high school. I graduated with less than a C average. So I'm really nervous because it's been like 5 years since I've been in school. So I'm not sure how well I would do, but it is an option for sure.
Yeah, yes. I think that I would feel the same way if I hadn't been in school for 5 years. It would be kind of tough getting back in as well. Yes, I totally agree with you on that one. But I would like you to tell me a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more about what you're feeling when you think about going back to school after 5 years.
I feel a lot of like God, what's the word? I feel like really nervous and like I feel like I'm going to be older than all the kids there cuz I'm like 22 and like I've been in the military, so I'm a little bit more grown up. I have had a lot more responsibility than a lot of the kids going there. So I'm really nervous about whether or not I'm going to do good and like whether or not, it sounds weird, but if I'm going to fit in.
Oh yes, yes. So let me summarize a little bit. So what I hear you saying is that you want to go to school. You are struggling a little bit with that decision because you feel that you may be a little older than the children and you may not fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like that can be a real challenge. I think that would be a challenge for me coping with that as well. Have you thought about some ways that you may be able to cope with that decision?
I had a friend tell me that a lot of colleges have veteran student services centers. I think that's what they're called.
Okay.
And they said that I could meet people there, which would be nice because, I've been away from home for a while. So, and I've kind of outgrown a lot of my high school friends. So, it'd be nice to meet people with like similar interests and stuff as me.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you have been through a lot, but it sounds like you made some good choices for yourself so far.
Thank you.
Yes, you welcome. And that sounds like a really good idea. How could we explore that a little bit more?
I mean, I guess I don't really have a car right now. So I guess I could ask my mom to like as my mom to drive me to a campus and I could do a tour and maybe that would make my parents happy too, seeing that I'm, working towards a goal.
Wow. Yes. That sounds like a good plan. I agree with you. That plan makes total sense. That sounds like that would work to me. So yeah, that's definitely sounds like you've got that situated already.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I do. I have a plan.
Yeah. And it also sounds like you're conquering the plan with mom and dad about them being happy about you going to school as well.
Yeah, it's annoying having to appease them, but I guess you're right. They are letting me live there rent free.
Yes, you are. And that can be kind of challenging, right? Because you have your needs, and then kind of our parents kind of have their own needs for us as well. And somewhere in between there, we have to find a way to, you know, make sure that your needs are being met as well as making sure that, um, understanding our parents' concern for us as well. Yes. And plus, you have to give yourself some space. You have to understand that coming from the military is a big transition for you. And that is something that's going to take a little time for you to get adjusted to. That's not easy, making that transition. So I really admire how you're doing that and you setting goals for yourself
Oh,
immediately.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so, in doing that and making that transition, do you think that um, mom and dad kind of have some pre-made goals for you as well? Is that what your struggle is when you?
I think that so like I said, I didn't do very good in high school and I wasn't necessarily the easiest child. So I think like their fears are that the progress that I made when I joined the military and I gained all that independence might disappear and I might go back to being like a bad kid. I think that that's their biggest fear.
Tell me a little bit more what you mean by bad kid.
I used to do drugs, like hang out with my friends late and I didn't do my schoolwork and I didn't really respect their authority. So I feel like that's their biggest fear is that I'll go back to being that person.
Wow, it sounds like to me that you're saying you kind of adapted some bad habits in high school, and mom and dad are kind of concerned that you may go back to that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can you see that being a real concern for them?
I can understand why the concern is there. I think that it's hard for them because even though I was gone and I grew up so much, the person that I grew into, they weren't necessarily there to see, and so they're probably their last memories, like real strong memories of me, are me kind of being a little jerk, for lack of a better word.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I agree with you. I think that you have developed a lot of strengths, right? Like you're mature. What are some strengths you think that you've pulled out of the military that you could possibly use now?
Yeah, I definitely think I have a better respect for authority than I ever did before.
Mhm.
Um, my loss of routine, I think, has been a big weakness for me, but I think I could gain that back. And then my confidence and my abilities as an individual. Um, yeah, I think those are my biggest strengths: my confidence and my respect for authority and my drive. Yeah.
So now, coming from the military, you have a little bit more confidence and you have a little bit respect for authority. And those are some strengths that we could possibly build on as we make this transition from the military to home.
Yeah.
Especially when you said, the confidence, right? We could probably take some of that confidence that you have and apply that to you being successful at school as well.
That's a really good idea. I should have thought of that myself.
Yes, because that's something that you have, right? You said you have confidence, and I as well have confidence in you that you would um, have a successful transition into school. And those are some thoughts that you can keep in your mind when you are thinking that you will not be successful. The thought that you do have that confidence that you know that you can succeed.
Yeah, I'm saying I have confidence and I'm also scared of a bunch of 18-year-olds.
Maybe not scared, just thinking that you may, they may see you as as not their equal. And that's definitely something that I agree, it can be concerning, would be kind of frightening going back to school after 5 years. But I would like to use the confidence that you have felt, and definitely apply that moving forward, when you go back to school, thinking about that confidence and all the ways that you have built that confidence. If we can, maybe in the next couple of weeks, before our next meeting, you can start thinking about some of that confidence you have, some of those skills that you're really good at, and we can take some of those skills and we can apply them to you, going to school. How does that sound?
That actually sounds really great. I'd be really excited to do that with you.
Yes, yes. So maybe in the next week, as you go through, think about some really good skills that you could use and you've adapted from the military, and we will definitely talk about those, how we can apply those next week.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming for this session. Before we leave, is there anything that else you would like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think I'm good. I'll see you next week.
All right. Okay. Thanks. All
Thanks.
right. Bye bye.